Okay, so today is Thursday, December 4th, 2025. Teenage Kraken. Sorry, I tried recording this like a little bit ago, and immediately I was just yawning through the opening, and it completely threw me off. I did not realize I was still kind of tired. What time did I wake up? I woke up at like 8:30-ish, and I don't know, it's like 1 something, I think. It's either around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, but I don't know, I guess I'm starting to get tired. But hope y'all are having a good day so far, and I hope the start of December, again, we're only on the 4th day, hope it's been good, and I hope November was fantastic. And I realize I didn't really do a November in review, and I don't think I really did a looking ahead to December either. In the last video, it was just more of, let me talk about my week, and then just like some kind of Thanksgiving thoughts. So I'll go ahead and do November in review, which a lot of it is just kind of this. My book, it's just, sorry, just weird seeing it. I guess number one, like in person and in my hands, but part of it is, let me just smile for a thumbnail. Don't know if I'll actually use that as a thumbnail. But it's weird seeing it like reversed, but a lot of it was this. I got it published November 1st, and I've spent a lot of the month just trying to do stuff. Like, I've talked about it. Like, I've reached out to different blogs to see if anyone would be interested in reviewing it, and like I've said, I've heard back from some that are. I'm expecting within the next week and some change-ish, some of those will hopefully actually get posted. I think one is actually supposed to get posted like by tomorrow, but depending, like the holiday might have actually kind of affected some of that. But, I've reached out there, I've reached out to a bookstore, but trying to do maybe a book signing, getting paperback physical copies, which are now available, but like genuine, like the physical copies are available, ebooks are available. Like trying to reach out to like artists and influencers regarding just basically advertisements, like what can I do to try to get it out there, let people know I wrote a book, I like the book, I think the book is really good. The reviews that it's gotten, while very few, have been incredibly positive. So basically most of my month has just been this in different capacities. There's also, I finally started posting Isla, which means I've had to do a bit more work on it. We're about halfway through the first book. So Isla is divided into 8 arcs, divided into 4 books. And I would say I have 1 chapter that's theoretically ready to go. I would like to give it like another review and once over, but I'm trying to post now new chapters every 2 weeks because I posted last week. I will post it next week. So I'm trying to post on Friday, so it should be next Friday this one goes live. I will probably give it another look over maybe about Monday or so. Excuse me, but I do need to go ahead and start working on the next chapter. I think, including the one that's yet to be posted, it should be 3, maybe 4, and then the first half of the first book is done. Like, the first arc is done. And then, well, I guess at that point it's like 1 down, 7 to go in terms of arcs, and then like half down, 3.5 to go in terms of books. Progress is theoretically being made. In terms of other stuff, just a lot of figuring out what, like, the situation with the house, playing Pokemon. Like, I've watched some movies, haven't really watched shows. I'm not sure what games I've played, like, aside from Pokemon. I feel like that just kind of was November. Like I said, a lot of it was just Orichalcum and some Isla, and just figuring out stuff, I guess, like where my life is, where it's going, what plan do I have for the future, trying to get one figured out. There's been a lot of chaos. But weirdly, despite the chaos and how turbulent a lot of it has been, there's been a lot of stability and a lot of prayer. And genuinely, I feel like a lot of answered prayer. Could I be doing better? Sure, I feel like we all could, but I feel like I can genuinely say I'm doing okay. And, like, I can see my path forward. And there's a few different paths, and not like, okay, here's, I guess, use like a labyrinth thing, because, spoiler alert, I'll talk about that in a bit, because I watched it. It's not like all right, this leads to the castle, this leads to certain death. It's like, well, this leads to the castle, this leads to the castle, this leads to the castle. Maybe this leads to certain death, but it's like, there's genuine good faith options that I can see. And it's just going to be trying to figure these out, navigating these, and the paths might not be mutually exclusive. So that's nice. That's cool. So that's kind of November in review, and looking ahead to December, part of it is that same thing, like navigating these paths, doing more with this, like trying to market it more. Let's see, like, if, some of these, like, influencer situations, like artists, like if that can come to fruition, if if seeing some of these blog reviews come in, and that number was seeing it, they're good reviews. But then also, does that lead to more exposure? Does that more exposure lead to more sales? We'll see how that goes. It's the Christmas season, so I guess I'll probably watch some Christmas stuff. I like some Christmas movies and some specials. Probably gonna have to do some shopping. I've really only shopped for one person, because everyone knows what he likes. He's like, I collect movies. I like collecting Criterions. Here is the list of ones I don't have. Anything on the list would be great. And his birthday is also this month. His birthday is Saturday. So I'm like, cool. So here's one for your birthday. Here's one for Christmas. Easy, done. I don't know who else I'm gonna get stuff for. We're gonna have to figure that out. But Christmassy stuff. So elsewhere, looking ahead. So in terms of games, which I guess is kind of a segue also into the past week, finishing ZA, and I'm very close. I have finished the main story. I've done the 2 DLC missions, which are Diancie and Mewtwo. I've caught Xerneas. I have some bosses I have to refight, and I'm not really sure why. The way they kind of made it sound was like, oh man, it's like for Xerneas, there's some weird, legendary, there's some strong alphas around. You got to go take care of that. Okay, cool. Hey, some of these I can't get elsewhere. I don't have the decks yet. This is nice. And he's like, oh man, Yveltal's gonna be so strong. You gotta do some training. You gotta refight some dudes. I don't know. I'll probably just kick his ass when I fight him. I mean, Xerneas was pretty easy, barely an inconvenience, but sure, I guess this is what I gotta do. And then I think after that is fighting L and catching Zygarde, or you might catch Zygarde before you fight L. I don't know. But I think at that point, I'm done. I don't know if I have to complete the dex to catch Zygarde, and I really hope I don't have to, because I know there are some Pokemon I can only get by trading. So I don't know or really think I can catch Scizor, or Slurpuff, or is it Spritzy? Or it's the evolved form, or Spritzy's the first form, then there's the evolved, I don't remember, but it's the bird fairy thing. Aromatisse, I think that's what its name is, which I'm 90% sure is you have to trade Spritzy with an item. If I have to complete the dex for Zygarde, I'm gonna either find a way around it or say, okay, cool, we're just putting a giant pin in this. Otherwise, blah, blah, blah. I am 100% gonna do a video when I'm done, when I am done with the game, not including the DLC, which comes out, Wednesday? I'm probably gonna do the DLC, but I don't know if I want to, but I do want to. Which, I'm not gonna go super deep into the game now, but the short version is I still don't really know what I think of it, having more or less of it. I mean, beating the main game and a good chunk of the post game, There are things I genuinely like. There are things I genuinely dislike. And then there's the things where I'm like, I feel like, I guess to keep it short, I like the game enough that I've kept playing it. And I don't know how much of that is because the game has genuine charm to it, which keeps me going. The game is genuinely fun, and that keeps me going. The game plays into my ADD, which makes it hard to put down, or just because Pokemon gives me dopamine, or some combination of all four. And I think my video is just me going to be going, let me talk about all of my thoughts on this and trying to figure out how much I liked it. And maybe it's really going to be me figuring out if I even want to get the DLC. But there's that. I am expecting to get that finished within the next few days. And then, like I said, we'll see when the video actually happens, like the DLC. So, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the year, but I've been really interested in split fiction. The moment it was announced, I was like, this sounds like a really cool idea and like a really fun game. And I have some friends who have played it. I have one friend who's played it multiple times. I cannot remember the name of the creator, but my buddy Wyatt has played that dude's games. I believe he's played A Way Out, I think a few times. He's played It Takes Two multiple times. And he's played, I keep calling split fiction, like in my head, it's like Splitty Fitty instead of Splitty Ficky also. But like, yeah, he's played Splitty Fitty a few times. And he's expressed interest in playing it with me. So I followed up with him on that, and he's like, okay, it's not that I'm not down to do it, because I am. But genuinely, I would recommend playing It Takes Two first. So we've played through most of that over the last 2 days. We did the ice level in its entirety yesterday. So I think today we are planning to finish It Takes Two. We might start Splitty Fitty, or we might just, maybe we'll say that over the weekend. Maybe we'll start it next week. But soon. So that's a couple December things. So getting into It Takes Two real quick. I don't really know if I'm going to do a video on it. If I do, I might see if he's down for it. Short version, I enjoy it a lot. I think the game is really fun. The way Wyatt described it to me is like with a lot of like the monster designs, some of the things that happen, this game is like an insane version of Banjo-Kazooie. And playing, I'm like, I can see it. I could definitely see it. There definitely have been some moments, without going deep into spoilers, I would say, I think the elephant comes to mind. I think there have been like some other, I think it's a lot of the stuff with like the squirrels and the bees, and like, excuse me, the wasps in particular, very much so. There's a lot of things that just made me think of Conquer. And some of it is just the set pieces, again, like the squirrels going to war and like having to go like fight like the wasps in their nest and shit. But also just some of the humor, like it doesn't go quite as far as Conquer does. But I'm like, yeah, I can see the Britishness in both of me. That's what I call a platform game. It's a lot more fun than Conquer. Like, having actually played Bad Fur Day last year, it's not good. Like, I enjoy the experience. I didn't really have fun playing it. It's very jank. This game is not that. There are some moments where, like, I'm trying to, like, hook shot onto, like, a hook. And sometimes I feel like that's a little finicky. Aside from that, I feel like it plays really well. I feel like it controls very well. I think a lot of the levels are fun. A lot of these set pieces are fun. I like the way, you know, I like that you have to play with another person. I think that's really cool. But I like a lot of the ways, like, the two characters and levels will interact with each other. In terms of the writing, sorry, that pause was not like man, I hate the writing in this game, because that's not the case. It's just, how much do I like May and Cody? And how much am I supposed to like them at the same time? I don't know. I will say, in terms of, like, intent, I think the intent is, like, yeah, these are two very flawed people with a very flawed relationship. And maybe there's a way to fix it, maybe not. But we're going to try to give them the benefit of the doubt here. But there is a lot of doubt and gray area. But in terms of how much I like them, I don't know. I'd be lying if I said they weren't growing on me, especially after the snow level. That one very much feels like this is kind of when it's supposed to start clicking. Not the game as a whole, that clicked kind of from the word go. But like their relationship and the fact that maybe you can't... Maybe there's something here that wasn't there before, or something about snowballs that just brings couples together. But it's like, it is kind of starting to work, and it is fun. So I do like it a lot. I'm looking forward to... Sorry, I just thought of Dr. Hakim. I love Dr. Hakim. All right! It's about love and passion! Yeah! Like, I freaking love him. But, expecting to finish that by the end of the week, hopefully by the end of today, and then probably Splitty Fitty next week. I don't know if it's the same approximate length of It Takes Two. Yeah, probably by the end of next week, assuming White and I have like a similar schedule that we did this week. If it's a longer game, then I don't know, we'll see. But looking forward to those. Other games I'm tentatively wanting to play and experience. Bonanza, because I played a chunk of it and then just kind of stopped. And I like it. I think the game is fun, but I don't know. It's almost like it's weird. It is like the anti-ZA, where I look at ZA and I'm like, okay, so here's all the problems this game has, and here's a lot of the areas where I feel like it lacks the charm that it otherwise should have. But then here's some areas where it does. I guess like charm and polish. And then I look at Bonanza and I'm like, okay, so here's like all of the charm. Here's why this game is like super likable, super neat. It's why I was really excited to play it. It's why I'm having a lot of fun playing it. But when I'm not playing Bonanza, I'm not like, man, I really need to play Bonanza. Or like, man, dude, I can't wait to play some more Donkey Kong. And then when I'm not playing Pokemon, I'm like, I could be playing Pokemon right now. I should play some Pokemon. And I think it really is. One game knows exactly how to give me my dopamine, which is catching Pokemon. And the other game is like, I've had like a not great day. I think I just want to run around and punch some rocks. I mean, there are the dopamine hits when I get an, banana. Like, that's nice. I don't think it quite hits the same as catching a Pokemon, though. At least not for me. But I do want to finish it because I like the game. It wasn't a, man, I am dropping this. It was just... There's a lot of things where I was like, man, I'm kind of doing this. And then I went on my trip and then was like, all right, this kind of like killed the momentum, which is weird because that's when I started playing DK, but it was just kind of a weird thing. The other game I'm interested in playing is Stellar Blade because I finally got it. Because it was like a day or two before Black Friday. So I think it was Wednesday. It might have been Tuesday. Clay and I went to Walmart. We were specifically looking for Clair Obscur, which our Walmart does not have. And we talked to one of the dudes. He's like, oh, yeah, like we have not restocked it since we first got the game. Like we just haven't. But Stellar Blade was 50% off. And it's a game I've been interested in for a while. I remember playing the demo. Was it last year? It might have been earlier this year, but I think it was last year. Like, this is fun. Or maybe it was like the end of 23 was the demo and it came out in like January, February 24, whatever it was. I played the demo, thought this is neat. I kind of like this. I'm interested in playing the game. Never got it, but 50% off, like that's perfect. I'm going to get it. So after It Takes Two, Splitty Fitty, and finishing Pokemon, I'm either going to try and just be like, look, let me finish Bonanza, which is tentatively the plan, and then start Stellar Blade. There is a non-zero chance I'll just play Stellar Blade instead, or like I'll play Bonanza. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just bouncing off of it. It's not doing it for me. Let me play this other one. So that's so in terms of games, that's the plan. In terms of movies, so I watched Zootopia 2, loved it, did my video on that. I watched Labyrinth this week. It's the first time I've ever seen it. Like, I've seen clips. I've seen Dance Magic Dance. I don't know, like, I think I've, like, walked in and seen it on, like, TV before. But I don't think I've ever just, like, watched it. That was not me trying to say that Labyrinth is boring or yawn-inducing. That was just perfect timing. But I enjoyed it a lot. I had a really fun time with it. Like, I think the music is fun. I think one of the funniest things to me in the movie, it's like, okay, so here's just, like, a real person, a bunch of, like, Muppets, and then David Bowie. Because, like, he's the Goblin King, and then most of these other Muppets, like, I don't think Didymus and Ludo are goblins, but, like, Hoggle is definitely a goblin, like, all of, like, Jareth's Droogs are very much goblins, and, like, a lot of them look the same, but a lot of them have really different looks. And like, oh, this is really cool. But Bowie doesn't really look like a goblin. Like, he's not wearing like green face paint, all of these like scales or anything. It's the only thing is like maybe his hands, but I think those are just, it looks more like he's wearing gloves than more like, oh, he has these like cool textured hands. It's just David Bowie is King of the Goblins. And on the one hand, it's, like, kind of distracting, but on the other hand, I'm like, I don't care. I think this is just fun. Like, it weirdly makes it more fun that he just looks like a regular dude. Just in all this makeup and these cool fits. I just had a fun time. What are you doing? Nothing, tra-la-la. Like, it's just a weird line, and it's perfect. There is this one line he has near the end of the film, where, you know, it's like, what have you done for me? And he's like, I mean, like, I gave you, like, you asked for a wish, and I gave it to you, you know, like, I gave you stuff to do, I gave you, like, what is it? It's something along the lines of, like, I gave you an obstacle to overcome because it's what you wanted. And, like, he sums it up with, like, I'm exhausted keeping up with your expectations of me. I'm like, I really like that line. There's a character in Orichalcum, and I'm like, that is exactly something they would say, and I might throw it in there in like book 2 or 3. I could easily see him saying it. It'd be so perfect. So like looking ahead to other movies, Knives Out 3, what's it called, like Dead Man, it's not Dead Man's Chest, but Wake Up Dead Man, I think that's it, but it's Knives Out 3. That, I think, the official, like, Netflix release is the 12th. But I think there's some theaters that are still showing it. And I think me and some of my friends, like, I heard about this yesterday, that there's a tentative plan to go watch it over the weekend. So depending on timing, I'm going to go to that. And I'm looking forward to it. I think that sounds really fun. What else is coming out? There's Avatar 3, Avatar Fire and Ash. So here's the thing. I genuinely, unironically like the first movie. I will kind of make fun of it a bit because I'm like, look, I've seen this movie before because I've seen it before. But like, I've seen Pocahontas, I've seen Fern Gully, I've seen Dances with Wolves. Like, this is that same story, same movie. And aside from just how dang pretty it looks, because it looks really dang pretty, like, there's not a lot of new stuff here. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a good time. If I didn't enjoy, like, seeing this world and seeing, like, the Na'vi tribe and, like, the weird cool hair stuff that they do, or the freaking dinosaurs that they, like, the pterodactyls that they're flying on. Like, I like it. I won't say it doesn't have problems, but I enjoy it anyways. Way of Water was like, I'm looking forward to seeing it because I enjoyed the first movie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing just how it's going to look. But I'm not expecting there to be a great story or like these great characters, and I was kind of exactly right. I think the way I described it is like, this is like a 3.5 hour, because I think it was that long. Maybe I'm over exaggerating a bit. But at the very least, it's 3 hours, or it's like 258 kind of thing. Like, this is a 3-hour amusement park ride. And as an amusement park ride, it's really cool and really fun. But I don't really like being on one ride for 3 hours. Like, there's not, for me, enough here to really keep me invested. They're trying, it's just not doing it for me. So, am I gonna see Avatar 3? I mean, yeah. Because I want to see these on the big screen. I want that cinematic experience. And I don't know, maybe that's hypocritical of me to be like, yeah, I don't think the movie's good, but I want to see it. And maybe it sounds like kind of pretentious to say, like, I want that experience. But, like, it's the same reason I went to go see Tron Ares. And I can't lie, actually kind of liked Tron Ares. It's there, like I said in my video of it, it's like there have been a couple moments of that movie that have still kind of stuck with me. On top of the fact that, yeah, it was a really cool movie to watch in a theater. So, I feel like the absolute worst case scenario is, I go to the theater and it, like, sets on fire and I die. But in terms of just the movie itself, the worst case scenario that I could reasonably see happening is I watch it, and I'm like, okay, this was really long. I still don't think the characters are that interesting. I think the story is more or less the same thing they did the second time, which was more or less the same thing they did the first time, and it was not interesting. But it still looked cool. Cool enough, to be worth the price of admission? Maybe not, but cool enough that I'm kind of glad I went to see it. Best case scenario would be, okay, this one was actually really good for ABC reasons. Like, hold on, the Fire Nation rules. So, we'll see. I'm not sure off the dome, like, what else is coming out in December. I guess there's the David movie, which I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, okay, Samuel is one of my, like, the book of Samuel, 1 and 2. It's one of my favorite parts of the entire Bible. I also, like, I will say generally, my favorite parts of the Bible are, like, the history books. Samuel, Kings, like, throw in some Esther. I love that kind of stuff, where it's not just, let me preach to you. Although, I don't want to say it's like, man, I hate the preachy parts of the Bible. But for me, it's most effective. Sorry, I was like, I kind of like, it clicked with me. It's like what I was saying about The Running Man, where I'm like, man, I like this movie, but I think it's maybe a little too preachy. And I'm not saying sorry, I was looking out at the lake as I was talking, and there's almost like this optical illusion where it looks like there's a wave forming, but there's not. Like, sorry, I got distracted. Let me look this way so I'm not looking at the water. There's a message to this movie, and it's not that I disagree with it, but it feels a little heavy-handed. And there are times for me reading scripture where I'm like, I get it, but this just feels a little heavy-handed. There's also a lot of times, like, I've, like, been to church and felt that. There are also times reading the Bible or, like, going to church or listening to someone's testimony where it is, let me tell you a story. And I get more invested in the story, but I can see God working through it. That's why I love those history books. Judges, that's another one. Like, honestly, like in Genesis too, it's like, it's that kind of stuff. It's why I really like Christ's parables, because here is like a story, here's kind of something you can think about, and here's the theme along with it. But Samuel is my favorite of the bunch. because I think the story of David, which, includes the story of Saul, which includes the story of Samuel, the eponymous character of those books, who's not in the second one because he's long dead. Anyway, sorry, going on a slight tangent. It's my favorite because of how much I genuinely think David has a really cool and interesting story. The shepherd boy who slays the giant, and now everyone in the kingdom loves him, and then the king's like, you're really cool, be like my harp boy, and also be best friends with my son, and they're the bestest friends ever. Then, I actually think at that point David was already anointed by Samuel, but at this point, Saul starts to become jealous because he's starting to lose popularity with the people, and he's got it in his head that David's going to replace him because he totally is, and he has it in his head that he's made God angry because he has. I think at this point he knows very well, okay, you've messed up a lot. Your time is coming to an end, dude. And David, being a good boy, and being best friends with Jonathan, and also having to deal with Saul trying to kill him, and having no ill will towards Saul. It's this is genuinely kind of gripping political stuff. Then you get part 2, where David is not so much just good boy anymore. Where you've got what happens with Bathsheba and Uriah. Oh boy, is that interesting shit. You've got the sons of Zeruiah. You've got, what is it? It's Joab, Abishai. Who's the third one? I want to say Joash, but I think Joash is a king. No, okay, I think it's Josiah was one of the best kings they ever had. I think Joash was the king who took over and he was 8 and was a really good king, but then as he got older, he kind of became a piece of shit. What is the name of the third son? Asahel. I think that's his name. Who, I think he's the one fought Abner. What was the situation with Abner? I think it was Abner was one of Saul's top generals, and Asahel challenged him, and Abner's hey man, I think we're all on the same side now. David said we're all cool, and Asahel's I don't care that David said we're all cool. You tried to kill my king at one point, and Abner's dude, no, and then eventually he kills him, if I remember correctly. It's he hits him with the blunt end of the sword, but it's hits him hard enough that he still dies, and in my head, I imagine it's more he hit him with the hilt, and it stopped his heart or impaled him, which would be crazy. So that happened, and then Joab and Abishai are well, we already didn't like the guy, now he killed our brother, and it's our brother's fault, but he's still our brother. And then Joab kills him later, where, it's, if I remember correctly, he's just greeting him everything is cool, and takes his beard and just kills him. Then there's everything with, what's the name of the son? No, it just said Abishai. Oh, it starts with an A. Absalom. That's it. Oh, boy, what an arc that is. What was the name of the first son? Because it was the eldest son, whose name I think also started with an A. I want to say his name is Ammon. I might just be randomly thinking of Korah, but it's something I want to say Ammon was in love with his half-sister. I want to say her name was Tamara, who was Absalom's full-blooded sister, and he was in love with her, absolutely smitten, and then he raped her, and then after that, he's I despise you, you are nothing to me, and Absalom's okay, I will not tolerate that, that disrespect to my sister. So he invites all of David's sons, a big family meal, and then he kills, Ammon during the family meal. So all the other sons of David, run, they're dude, Absalom's gone nuts, he's trying to kill us all. He only killed the firstborn because we all escaped. It's no, he's the only one I wanted to kill, but then Absalom has to leave because David's pissed that he just killed the firstborn. And, he's in... My brain completely stopped. I think he's in exile for a while, but then he comes out of exile because David's dude, I just kind of want my son back. I lost one son. I don't need to lose a second. But Absalom comes home and everything's kind of nice, but then he starts getting really popular because I think he was the second born. So he's either the highest born son of the king at this point, Or he's kind of up there, but people really like him. So then he starts a rebellion and he overthrows his father. And then David's on the run and all this stuff happens. There's this scene where like he's riding his horse, but he gets tangled up in a tree with his hair because he was so proud of that hair and it was so pretty. And then Joab sees him hanging there and he's like, so I know the king said not to kill his boy, but it would fix all of our problems if it kills Absalom. And then all this stuff happens. And then when David finally dies, like the start of Kings, I don't think Solomon was the next oldest at that point, although I could be wrong, but he was the oldest that he had with Bathsheba. And I don't remember if it was explicitly that God had told him, look, it's going to be Solomon that's like the one that's inheriting, or if he just said it's one of your children. But he's like, all right, I'm just kind of going to go and tell you all on my deathbed, dude, you're the king that's going to take over. Do a good job. I say this with all due love and respect for Joab because he's been a dear friend to me for a long time. He's done a lot of good work. You kind of gotta kill him. Like he's done some things, and David I don't think even knew that Joab killed Absalom because Joab would not have lived. Oh, like there's a lot that happens in Samuel, and it's great. Like it is a genuinely gripping narrative, but throughout it, you see God working and you see the relationship that David has with him, and you see that David is human. He makes mistakes. He has errors. He has severe errors and mistakes. And you still see how much God loved him and how close they were. And that does a lot for me when I read it and when I reflect on it and like when I read the Psalms, because a lot of them were written by David. And you see the moments where he's like, God is in my corner and he's my guy and this is how it feels. And you also get those Psalms of, I am at the brink and the depths of my despair, and I am crying out to my Lord, why don't you hear me? Because having a relationship with God does not mean that everything is going to be great. It isn't always. There's a whole chunk where I think it's David is hiding from Saul. It might have been from Absalom. But I think it's when he's hiding from Saul and he like takes solace in this city for like several years. And the way he gets away with it is he has to pretend that he's insane. I think he's is not wearing a lot. Like he's wearing like ripped clothes, smells bad, is foaming at the mouth. And people are like, oh yeah, this totally isn't David. And so they don't think it's him. Like, yeah, sometimes that's what's gonna happen to you. But God came through and David was still king. And he was king for a long time. And there are a lot of things that happened during that time. But God was with him through all of it. And that's what I love about that story. So, a film about the story of David, I don't even know like how much of it they're going to adapt. Like, is it just going to be Samuel part 1, like the David section of Samuel 1? Is it going to include some of the stuff from Samuel 2? Excuse me. And there's also just me wondering, it's like it's weird to say, it's like how kid-friendly are they going to make it? It seems like it's like an animated film, like kind of kid-friendly-ish. And on the one hand, it's like, well, I mean, the Bible's not exactly a kid-friendly book, but also, like, it's the Bible, like, it's shared with kids. I, like, memorized a lot of verses when I was younger, because I was in, like, a whole, like, Sunday school-ish kind of program. What was it called? I think it was called Sparks. So I don't know how much of it, just, like, the content of the story is going to get compressed for time, how much of it is going to get watered down for an audience, and even then, like, it seems like there's probably going to be a lot of like God in the movie, but then how is it going to be portrayed? Is it going to be portrayed as more of a like, I'm with God, everything's cool? Or is it going to be like, no, not always, because not every relationship is just like good all the time. But that's, it's only kind of the point. I'm not sure. So I will at least say I'm kind of curious about it, tentatively interested in it. I don't really know if I'm gonna go see it. And I'm not sure what else is coming out. Although I think the Silent Hill movie is going to be next week. Next week. Sorry, I was trying to say like next year and next month because it comes out in January. And somehow that came out as next week. But I think it's in January's Return to Silent Hill, which like I'm looking forward to. It might be terrible, but I'm looking forward to it. Oh, yeah. I don't know when this is coming out, but Tanya season 2 got confirmed. And I'm excited for that because I really like season 1. And Freerin season 2 got confirmed. I think they said January? I'm excited. It's like, I've not read the manga. Like, I don't know if I actually, like, looked at it at all this year. No, that's not true. Because I think it was earlier. Yeah, that's right. Because I think I did a lot of, like, manga catching up earlier in the year and then stopped. So I think it was earlier in the year I got caught up, stopped because there were no new chapters, and, got caught up, and have not tried to follow up since. But if they cover what I think they cover, which should be, it might be El Dorado and some like the stuff beforehand, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good. I'm really excited for that. Oh man, I'm like 40 minutes in. I haven't even talked about Survivor or football. I guess to go over football quick. The Saints are out. Officially out of the playoffs. I don't even pretend to almost kind of have hope for the season anymore. What a dog shit season this was. I mean, like, I knew the team was going to be bad, and we are, but there were times, especially early on, where like, okay, like, we're not good, but it seems like we're competitive, and then a lot of other weeks where we just weren't, and then other weeks where we kind of were, and I don't know. I don't know what there is to build off from this season. Like, I don't know if I really have any sense of hope or excitement. They're still my team. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like, all right, let me just like, I don't get to watch our games because I'm out of network and I don't have yeah, the like season pass stuff is really expensive. So I don't have that. I really just watch in-network games and primetime games. I don't have any primetime games this year because we're terrible. But I will always like follow a game as it is happening. Even, oh gosh, I think it was last year. I was like, there were so many games. Like, dude, like I was talking to Clay. I was like, I can tell you exactly how this game is gonna go before it happens, and I'm not gonna get sucked into it. And I did every time. Like, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna be down like 2 to 3 scores pretty early, and it's gonna be over. Then we're going to make a comeback, and we're going to start cooking. Like, the defense is getting stops. The offense is flowing. Actually, was it last year? It might have been 2 years ago, but there might have been some of it last year. No, yeah, it was last year, too. I think it was both. Like, this is how it goes. And then we're either going to have a chance to tie the game or take the lead. And we're not going to do it. The other team is then going to take the lead or like increase their lead. And we'll have one more chance, maybe, and we won't get it. And almost every single game was like that. It was so frustrating. And this is its own, like, this is different. It's not good. It's not fun. I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. I mean, Dan Campbell's first year in Detroit was bad. And then, like, the next year was better. They missed the playoffs, but it was better. And then they went to the NFC Championship. And then they were the 1 seed. And I don't know, this year they might miss the playoffs, but they're still competitive. So we'll see what happens. The AFC South is really interesting. Jacksonville is 8-4. Indy is 8-4, and they have not played each other yet. I think Indy still plays Houston one more time, and they're 7-5. They play Kansas City soon, so that could give Houston a tiebreaker over them and more or less eliminate them from playoff contention because they are hanging on by a thread. They have a tiebreaker over the Bills. I don't remember if Houston has played the Chargers already. But if not, that gives them like another potential tiebreaker and moves them up. Like Houston's cooking. They've been really surging, and yeah, like probably the best defense in the league, except for like maybe Denver. The NFC North is also interesting. The Bears are the 1 seed. I was not expecting that. I was genuinely not expecting at this point in the year that Chicago would be the number 1 team in the NFC. Same record as the Rams, who lost to the Panthers because the Panthers are weird, but maybe inconsistent, but above 500 and theoretically good. They beat the Rams and the Packers. They lost to the Saints, but they also play the Bucs twice. So like that division, it's less that it's like up for grabs and that it's more of it's between these two teams and they're going to decide it. Or it's like between the Colts, Texans, and the Jags, anyone could win the AFC South and maybe get another like playoff spot. Maybe 2. I don't know. I mean, the Chargers, I know that Herbert's injured. I don't think it's season ending. Not from what I've heard. It sounds like it might be a week or 2, but with how like tight the AFC wild card is right now, because I think there's 3 8-4 teams in a slot. With like, because Jacksonville technically is in the division lead right now. So I think it's Indy, Buffalo, I can't remember who the third, and the Chargers, 8-4. Houston is 1 behind, KC is 2 behind, and then Ravens and Steelers are the same record, play each other twice. A lot of like these divisions, like we haven't played each other yet. Like Green Bay and Chicago have not played each other yet. I think their first game is Sunday. Ravens' first game is Sunday. Colts, Jags' first game Sunday. I know, I was just like, have the Seahawks? Yeah, the Seahawks have played the Rams and the Niners. I think that's 2 of their 3 losses are to those 2 teams. I don't remember who the other one was to Tampa. And then Rams, Niners are done. And I think Seahawks, Niners is the last week of the season. That's probably going to be the Sunday night game. It's just like, all right, because I remember a few years ago it was like, all right, winner is the 1 seed, loser's the 5 seed. That might happen where it's like, all right, winner gets the NFC West, and then the loser is the 5 or maybe the 6, depending on like where the Rams are. Like, oh man. But yeah, sorry, to my point though, like AFC wildcard is super tight right now. So Herbert missing a game or 2 could just spell disaster for them. And the NFC North is, the Bears are the 1 seed. Green Bay is right behind. The Lions, I think right now are like 8 or 9 in terms of seeding. They've been swept by Green Bay, but because of the tie, like they can't finish with the same record anyways. They play Chicago again, I think at the end of the year. They've also lost the tiebreaker to the Eagles, who still have a good lead in the NFC East. I think it's by like 2.5, 3.5 games. But they're slipping and Dallas is surging. So the game tonight between Dallas and Detroit, it's not like for a playoff spot, but it's almost, and like the loser is not eliminated. But it almost kind of feels like whoever wins is still alive for their division and a wild card. Loser's kind of out. NFC South is almost like doing their own thing, as they kind of often do. And then Minnesota's not officially out, but they're kind of right about to be. Sorry, I was like, is there anyone else I'm really missing? Like, there's something much to say about the Falcons. They're basically in the same spot as Minnesota. I think they have the same record, where it's like, we're technically still alive, but feasibly not really. But in terms of record, I think they're 3 games out of first place, but they've been swept by Carolina, so I don't know if they played the Bucks twice. I want to say they haven't, but I could be wrong. Is there anything else I really want to say? I don't think so. It's just, I guess it's just more of that, like, there is so much parity in the league again that I don't know who's good, because so many teams are, like, good but inconsistent, and they look beatable, like Philly, where I have no idea. So I don't know. Like, it feels weird, like, I don't know, I guess the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl, which, like, a few years ago, be like, yeah, no duh. But now, we're like, wait, really? Huh. I mean, they have the best record in the league, and maybe they really just straight up are the best team in the league. They're finally going to have their bye, so, Denver can have a chance to tie them for the best record. Like, Buffalo has a chance to catch up. So Buffalo's 3 games behind. If they win this week, they're 2 behind. And if they beat New England, I don't remember what week it is that they play, then they'll technically only be 1 behind. And then I don't know what all the division tiebreakers will be. But there's a way that Buffalo can still win the division. I don't think anyone can clinch a playoff spot this week, but I know some teams can get eliminated. Some teams have already. Like, Giants were first, Saints are out, Raiders, Titans. I think Cardinals are all eliminated. And I think this week, Vikings, Falcons, Jets, because the Jets are still alive, Cleveland, and I think Washington are the teams that can officially be eliminated. So I think that's all to say about football. In terms of basketball, OKC still only has 1 loss. And, like, that Warriors game was like a blowout, and then it wasn't. But then we still won by double digits, so it was cool. So we're what? I think 20-1 or like 21-1. And I think the Warriors, their start and their season, I think it was 22-0 until they lost to the Bucks, who, from what I remember, like, were not that good that year. So it was kind of funny that it happened. Speaking of which, it sounds like Giannis wants to be out, and he might get traded. And there's that part of me that's like, ooh, my team should trade for Giannis, because I really like Giannis. Like, he's a player I really enjoy. I'm like, I'm a Giannis fan. I'd like to see him play for my team. And then I also go, I mean, with all, like, the assets we have, with all, like, those first-round picks, we probably could. There's a non-zero chance. But then I'm also like, yeah, but who would we have to give up? With how well the team is playing, and, like, there's the chemistry and how they coalesce together, like, I don't want to break that up if we don't have to. So as much as I would love to be like, yeah, let's get Giannis. I like Giannis. And, like, yeah, we're the best team in the league. Let's add one of the best players. Surely this will work. It really doesn't always. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And with how well we're playing, like, we're not broke. So maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just leave well enough alone. So I think that's that. And then, yeah, I watched Survivor. So, gosh, it's been like 54 minutes. Keep it relatively quick. I liked the episode. I feel like, as I basically keep saying, once the tribe swaps happened, the season got better, and I think the merge has been really fun. Once the players kind of started saying, like, okay, if Steven wins immunity, what are we going to do? Because he's the target right now, but if he's safe, I guess, like, some of us want to do Savannah, like, some of us want to do, or it was, the Sophies were saying, okay, if he wins, it's got to be either Savannah or Rizzo. I'm like, okay. They are not working with Sage or Christina. And if they're not even considering voting either of them out if Steven's immune, Christina has no winner equity. Sage, maybe, because I know, like, Jawan is on the jury. So, like, if she's in the final 3, I know Jawan is going to be very strongly in her corner and be like, so here's the thing. Sage and I were doing so much in like this early try. It was gonna be in the merge. And like Sage is the one that like really got me on board for Shannon, which is why we were running stuff in the merge and like blah blah blah, and like our bottoms up alliance, which isn't as much of a thing anymore with like Steven being involved, although Sage is still cool with Steven. I think Jawan, and if Steven is on the jury, he might kind of like harp for Sage as well. I think Sage could have a chance as like a dark horse. Christina, the fact that no one's even thinking of voting her out means no one sees her as a threat. So she, unfortunately for her, she might just be the GOAT of the season. It was Yellow Sophie that went home, but Blue Sophie, I guess Soph, was very much thinking about flipping on Savannah and Rizzo. She still has her knowledge is power. We're at 6. Rizzo still has his idol. It seems like, because that knowledge is power has been talked about a lot. And that idol, which is not played, has been talked about a lot. And it feels like next week, maybe the week after, but next week is probably when she's going to take it. Like, okay, it's 3-3. Steven has his block of vote that he can use on someone. And from the way that was read, it sounds like he has to use it before tribal. Yeah, it's like he essentially locks it in before they go to tribal. So I don't think she can steal it from him, because I think KIP has to be used in tribal. So she can only steal that idol. So unless someone finds Christina's idol that she played last week, which no one looked for. So unless someone finds that and she steals it, she's probably stealing Rizzo's to get out Rizzo or to get out Savannah. Like, I'm going to steal it to make sure he doesn't play it. One of them goes home, and then Soph plays it on herself at 5, gets into 4, and we'll see what happens. In terms of just, like, who's going to win and, like, winner equity, like I said, I think Sage could have, like, a dark horse chance. I think Christina is out. We've seen, like, how people talk to and about Steven. They're like, no, like, he's really likable, you know, he's very intelligent. We see him as a threat. So I could see it, but something in my gut just kind of and I could be totally wrong, but I'm just like, I don't think he's winning. I could see him like going out at 4, or like him putting on a good like performance at tribal. I don't think he's gonna win. I don't think Rizzo is winning. Savannah, I kind of have in a similar boat as Steven, where I think like she's either out at 4 or she has like a really good tribal performance, but she loses because I think Soph is taking this. Because really thinking about, it's like, what is the story of 49? I think it's really the story of Soph, or it's the story of Sage. And it's the story of Sage being at the bottom of this tribe that was doing really well, and how she felt really awkward and weird and was clearly on the outs. And even though everyone was trying to make her feel included, she could see through it. And then she got close to Jawan and Steven and had a place where she really belonged. It was doing really well. But then they took out Jawan, and after that, I don't know, maybe she's going on a warpath. She got her revenge by getting Sophie out. But maybe it is like, okay, it's like, yeah, like she's weird. She didn't fit in with everybody, but she is good at this game. And that's her story of the person who didn't really fit in, kicking ass eventually. It might also be the story of Soph, this person who has kind of fit in everywhere she's been. You know, in Kella, she was really close to, what was his name? I don't remember the guy who got bit by the snake, I'm sorry. But, like, she was really close to him, and even though Kella was, like, the bad tribe that was always losing, she was really well connected. Jake, I think. It was like she was really close to him, and then was also had another guy that she was really good with Jeremiah. So she was very well insulated, even though the tribe was falling apart. And then the first swap happens, and then she's with the Uli Hina mix. but becomes really close with the Uli members, particularly Savannah and Rizzo. And then when the merge happens, she's like basically one of them. And like, yeah, she's, despite all the chaos around her, she has fit in very well. She's been able to navigate it very well, keep her head above water, but not just be a number. Even when she was like, yeah, I'm really close to Jake. I have someone who's like, I'm his number one. He also has another number one in Alex, and I'm smart enough to see that that's a potential problem. Might need to take care of it. I have someone I'm really close to with Jeremiah, but I'm willing to let him go when I need to. Yes, like Alex and I are reunited, and we're cool because we bonded in Kella. But I'm smart enough to not have to hitch myself to him. And now you see her saying, I love Savannah and Rizzo. She's like, I might be closer to them than people I'm close to in my real life. But I'm closer to $1 million right now than I ever thought I would be in my entire life. I will cut them if I have to, and I know I'm going to have to need to win. Like, I know I have to cut them to win. It's just a matter of, like, me pulling it off. And again, they've talked about that advantage she has that her super close allies have no idea that she has. So, like, yeah, she's with us 100%. She's like, I am, but I know I can't beat both of you. I maybe can't beat either of you. And I still remember there was that one shot after it was like the first or second swap, which is weird to say there were multiple swaps. So again, I really liked that, where Kella lost and it just lingered on that one last blue standing. I'm like, so is that from original Kella, meaning it's Soph for Alex, and at this point it's just Soph? Or is this swapped Kella, who I don't remember if it was just the bottoms up tribe plus Shannon at that point, or if like that was still with like Christina and Sophie. But of that, it feels like at that point it really is Steven, Sage, or Soph that it was foreshadowing. And that might just straight up be the final three. And like I said, I think narratively speaking, I think it really is Soph or Sage. Like, Steven or Savannah wouldn't surprise me because I think they are playing well and could definitely get votes. But I don't think this season is, at least, again, from like what we've been shown, I don't think we're being shown that this is your story, although they are major characters in it. So there's that. We have 2 episodes left, including the finale. Looking forward to it. I think that's it. See ya.